Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 7 Japanese cruiser, Myoko. She has 10 203mm guns, 12 torpedoes, 42 AA defense rating, a surface detect of 12.7 kilometers, top speed 35 knots, total health 39,200. For my modules, reduced crit chance on main armament, improved aiming accuracy, reduced the chance of flood and fire, improved acceleration. For my commander, basic survivability, expert marksman, and superintendent. We're on the map 2 Brothers, and I headed out to the eastern side of the map right away. I wanted to see about pressuring the D point. There's only one enemy destroyer, so whoever ends up having that destroyer will know immediately, because the point will probably come under capture mechanics by the enemy in some form. So far, nobody has shown up at D, and that makes me wonder, what is going on? I decide to fire my gun at the first enemy I see, possibly baiting out other enemies to fire on my position. I do have an island right next to me. And I also send out my torpedoes. Now, maybe the torpedoes are a complete waste, but I would rather err on the side of using them too much, especially the way I play the game, where I kind of hold off until it's a very obvious success rate on the torpedoes. You end up missing out on a lot of extra damage if you play like that, and I just need to get myself out of that mentality, and I engage the enemy, Myoko, my counterpart. And he stops abruptly. The enemy Scharnhorst engages my ship. He does okay damage. We've taken 5,000 points of damage from the enemy. And I think he's the only target that has hit me. A lot of ricochets. But overall, I don't want to have anything to do with that enemy pressing that attack. So I'm going to pull back. The friendly destroyer has now attempted the capture. The enemy destroyer is over by the A point. So this should be a free capture. Unless, of course, the enemy decides to abruptly push forward. And I believe the friendly is a little bit too close. He used his smoke too early. You need to use your smoke only when you feel like you're going to be detected. You don't want a preemptive, otherwise you're going to run out of smoke really quickly. The only time you preemptive a smoke pod is if you are about to take damage and you want to prevent the scouting mechanic. Like if I'm trying to capture a base, I don't want them to see me. But if you're moving into a sector, make sure that you use the smoke in the most ideal scenario when you're about to be detected. He died because he overextended into the enemy team. He couldn't retreat because he had no smoke. I try and get some HE damage on the enemies, and we're getting close to an island. I don't want to pull a Notser. Not this early on. Please, no. We do set the target on fire. He disappears from detection. But the fire has been set. It is my first fire. First of many, hopefully. That's the mentality you go in a Japanese cruiser. And we're going to continue the pressure on the enemy. Now, he is engaging me. I'm trying to angle away. I'm right at the edge of the island. You can see the camera sort of press up because the island is preventing the collision of the camera. That's why it's all weird like that. But we're running right on the edge to avoid any shots, and we get a fire on the enemy Kirov. And about 3,800 points of damage. Not bad. Now, usually, a cruiser's going to put the fire out. Usually, a cruiser's going to put the fire out. Okay, he doesn't want to do that. But, look what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. He's going to pull a Notser. I preemptively swapped to AP because I knew that. I waited for him to come in contact with the island, and I fired right in the center mass with AP. By the time he backs up, it's going to be too late. We take out the target. Now, you could say, that was overkill. But let's say a player, like me, runs into an island. And if you watch my content, you know that happens more often than I would like to admit. Use that to your advantage. Predict the Notser being pulled. And therefore, you'll have the ammo to devastate an enemy. And that's exactly what we did. If he had 20,000 hit points, we would have done a lot of damage. And that would have been all on him because of the critical mistake he made in a moment that it just can't be made. I've done it too. I will continue to do it. It's very easy to do, but just understand you need to look to try and see the trends of the enemy, and in doing so I had AP loaded for the perfect broadside. I still have AP loaded. I engage the New York. I reload with HE. I do 2,000 to the New York. Not really my goal, of course. The Scharnhorst is pushing the attack on my teammates, and I'm going to try and help them as much as I possibly can. The York is about to die, unfortunately. We miss him slightly. He slowed down just in the nick of time, but I'm just going to adjust my shot. Still firing HE. HE is far superior in the Japanese case. I would say the only reason you would fire AP is if it was a clear, perfect broadside, because HE's just that good. 5400, friendly, lands 2 torpedoes, and he gets, it's just a flesh wound. So the York was able to have some revenge on his early death in this match. Now this could be dangerous. I did a quick check to see the New York is not looking at me, so I want to get in a position where I can send my torpedoes, and that's what I'm looking to do. The Bajoni is definitely interested in getting my ship as dead as possible as soon as possible. The enemy cruiser fires, but he misses just high on my hull. The friendly does a massive amount of damage to the New York, and that's fantastic, but it doesn't look like he's going to be an angle appropriate for my torpedoes to make contact. He's already pulling back. So I got to rely on my HE and fires, and that's what I'm looking to do. I am using dynamic. I will be making a dynamic focused video to explain exactly what I'm looking for. I have not changed. That Tirpitz game from yesterday is just very old. It was 0.5.8. The aiming was in it. I was testing to see how effective it would be. We get a fire on the New York. He is going to burn. Is he going to burn down to the fire? Oh, he puts the fire out. He just put the fire out, but it doesn't matter. We take him out. The enemy, Bajoni, he's running away like a coward. Get back here. The weakness of the Japanese cruiser line is, of course, the turret traverse. Why am I using improved acceleration? Why not rudder shift? Because the rudder is so fast. I felt like I would get a little bit more value out of improved acceleration. Is that correct? I don't know. But I'm going to try and use it. I don't really need the extra 1 second of rudder whenever I can have some form of stationary engagement behind an island, especially like a U.S. cruiser. Their arc of their shell allows them to get closer to an island than the normal cruiser class, and they can use that to their advantage. They can hide from enemy. They can be pretty effective in that role. And the reason I did it on my Japanese cruiser line, or at least just to test the waters, is they're already just really effective at getting in position. Their issue is they gotta wait on the turrets to traverse. And where is this enemy gonna go? I tried to predict a torpedo attack. Didn't work. So far, the torpedoes are nil for this game. Every target that I send them against has a different intention. We are detected, and it's obvious it's not him. So it's the enemy behind me. I'm going to try and minimize the sandwich opportunity for the enemies. I usually try my best to keep an island in between me and a secondary objective. The Bajoni is clearly keeping an island in between me and his primary objective, which is to engage the battleships. Either he recognizes me, or it's just the way he ended up sailing, because I would obviously try and engage a 50% cruiser over 2 healthy battleships any day, especially a Soviet cruiser, where your AP isn't worth a lot. You're not going to get citadels. You might get consistent AP if they ever show their side, but citadels are pretty much out of the question. But an enemy Omaha continues moving forward. I finally have my guns in position after all the rotation, and we engage him. First salvo sets the target on fire. And most likely, he's going to put the fire out. He does. I'm going to put my fire out. Now, that is aggressive. What if he sets me on fire? I'm going to burn for an extended period of time. I am trying to use the thinness of the Japanese cruiser to my advantage. You notice I missed all of his shells as they came towards me. He does hit me in minor damage. I am neutral, and there we go. Second fire on the enemy. This one will stick and burn. He also looks like he's going to pull a Notser. He's going to get real close. So I decide, okay, he's either going to get right on top of it or sail right by. We hit him just as he makes contact. It isn't enough to kill him. The fires are what killed him. Enemy Mahan shows up, and I'm going to try and lead him. Now, you can tell a lot about an enemy in the first salvo. He is someone who reacts to the shot incoming. He doesn't preemptive a move. So you're going to have to sort of trick him into running into your salvo. And I think this is the Omaha's torpedoes, but I'm not going to take any chances. I'm going to try and fit myself. Oh, never mind. It is indeed the Omaha's torpedoes. It's about, what, 5 or 6 kilometers. Nothing impressive. You might, in a blue moon, run into it, but most of the time, he's not going to be within range to be able to send it. And we are undetected. The island is very clearly in between my ship and the enemy destroyer. The cruiser is outside of the detection range of my ship. He might also be behind the island. I use my aircraft trying to scout one of them out. The game itself, it's close, but it's not within reach of winning. We have to do a lot of work. The enemy destroyer is still undetected. This enemy Shors is, of course, firing right on my position. Had I unload HE, I switch to AP. Not going to work out because he's angling away. The AP is going to be less effective. He sets my ship on fire. I'm trying to rush towards the island to get it between my ship and the enemy. I'm going to take free damage from them. The enemy destroyer pops his smoke. Maybe he was expecting me to engage him, but I'm not stupid. I'm not going to let you freely fire on me. Come on. Come on. You think this is my first rodeo? You think I've never played as a destroyer? You think I don't know what you're looking to do? You're looking to get free damage while the enemy is detected for him. And I'm not going to do that. I really wish he would have been visible for half a second, maybe a second longer. I would have had AP at the waterline in a broadside. It doesn't work out, though. And he has better detection than me. What is this sorcery? He decides to fire his AP at me. I'm angled away enough, I think. And you should expect the enemy destroyer any second now is going to fire his guns. I fire at the enemy. We get 3400 with AP, not what I was looking for. If the enemy destroyer is going to show himself at this range, I'm going to engage him. So we fire the guns, and oh crap. Yeah, there's an island in the way, Notser. It would really help if you didn't run into them. And yep, we pull a Notser. We don't actually hit the enemy destroyer. Again, he is someone who actively maneuvers away from a shot. I fire the last of the AP. I swap to HE. I'm in reverse. Good, I took that improved acceleration, right? Yeah, I could get up to -6 knots really quickly. And then I could throw it into forward and get the hell out of here. I'm taking a lot of free damage from the enemy. He sets us on fire. We do nick the enemy destroyer, but it's not enough damage to really make him be afraid. Ooh, friendly. Friendly gets a little piece of him. I try and engage again. He knocks out my steering. I have to use my damage control. I don't have last stand. And I'm going to try and fit myself in the little nook and cranny. Again, steering is knocked out. You will find that more often than not, the only part of the Japanese cruiser that they hit whenever you are retreating like this is your rudder. So it does break well more often than any other cruiser line, any other battleship line. The destroyers know the feeling, but they all have last stand. At least they should. You really should have last stand as your first skill at level 2. And I would really like to get an angle on the Fuso. If you noticed, there was a mutual destruction over in the south. There's about 45 seconds, 30 seconds left in the match. I gotta help take this Fuso out. I set the target on fire. Okay, that's gonna help out. We need more fires, and we need to actually hit with HE damage. It can't just be superficial. Friendlies are trying their best, of course. We still can win this. We've got to be able to take the target out, and I wanted to turn inside to get a little bit closer. Just can't do that. You would run into the island again. So instead, we've got to waste probably one gun cooldown cycle to go around the island. I tried to consider if there was another target I could engage, and there is not. These are it. The Fuso is almost dead, but not quite. And my fire apparently is still burning, which is good, but we could never get more than one fire. I assume he might still have damage control, and he's just letting the fire burn. And the fire is no longer there. 14,000, and the enemy has 6 points left. There's no way. This shell might not even take damage. It doesn't even register damage. It does set the target on fire, but they do end up winning that match. I felt pretty good about staying alive. I do wish I could have hit that destroyer, but the destroyer did a great job avoiding my shots. And it's a defeat. 3 kills, 11 fires. It's not the only game. I'm going to give you another game. I did 1,264 base XP. The Shanhos did a great job on my team. The enemies did a great job, of course, because I won the game. Most, if not all, my damage came from HE. Now, let's go to another match. It's going to be in the Myoko, and it's going to be on the map Trident. And again, we are top tier. And again, there are multiple Scharnhorsts in the match. It just came out. Why not play it? And so far, I've run into a couple that are really scary, 100,000 points of damage scary. But most of them are not playing the ship to its strengths. It has a lot of speed. It has a lot of turret traverse. It has torpedo systems. Therefore, it can get around the map and engage multiple targets at will. Keep those guns hot. Something like the Warspite, it's very hard to use the maximum damage per minute. The turrets traverse so slowly, you spend a much higher percentage of your time just rotating your guns, right? It makes sense, Notser. So you gotta really rack up the DPS, the damage per minute. You're not gonna get the Alpha Strike. You're not gonna get the mega one-shots, but you will provide a lot of damage for your team. Maybe you can follow up and kill them, or a friendly could follow up and kill them. The enemy is going into A. This is aggressive. I don't like to play passive on this map. If you stay back, you let them take all the bases, you're gonna lose. I try and push forward and use the islands to block most of the enemy, and when you run into the enemy, Hatsaharu. I line up a shot, and of course he disappears right as I'm ready to fire. I still fire, hoping to land something, and clearly we don't. Just too much time went by, didn't have enough time to really read the position the enemy was headed. But he's left B. We're in the process of capturing it. I have to be careful because I have a friendly just to my north, so I'm going to drop my speed. And while all this is going on, why not do a little bit of damage? Especially against a great big slow US battleship. 5,400, not bad. No fires, unfortunately. But like everything else, if you just continue to keep those guns hot, the Japanese will pay off immensely with fires. We do about 5,000 again, but no fire again. It's really hard for a battleship to get away from your potential damage as a Japanese cruiser. I think the cruiser line is the best newbie line that you can play. You don't really need to know AP angling and what you could penetrate and what you can't. You just need to lock in aiming at targets that are maneuvering and try and get your shells to land somewhere in the vicinity. And we're landing somewhere in the vicinity of the enemy New Mexico, doing okay damage. I believe that is my fire. I wasn't paying attention. I was thinking of my own thoughts. He puts the fire out, of course. And we have to wait another salvo. That's not going to stick. It was too recent. This salvo might stick. It's going to take 9 seconds from the second I pull the trigger to reach the target. I hopefully lit him correctly. If we do set him on fire, it'll be fantastic. There we go. 2 fires with that salvo. I don't care about the damage done. Look at how much damage is going to rack up really quickly with 2 fires stuck on a battleship. This is all bonus at this point. And we do a lot of non-penetrating HE. What? Ugh. Someone gets the kill. Whatever, right? We assisted. We probably did most of the damage to him. I'm okay with that. Our team has a 2 base to 1 advantage. We don't need to do anything. We can just stay back and play safe. The enemy has to make a play. And in doing so, they're going to overextend. The only target that's within range is this enemy Hatsuharu. We've got a friendly Hatsuharu, and I'm going to, of course, assist in the destruction of the enemy. This isn't an easy shot, but what I'm looking for is if he's moving away or moving towards me, the distance he might be, I try and extend that lead well ahead of the destroyer, and you need to do that, and we do hit him. Wow. I can't say it's 100% skill, but you make your own luck in this world. If you put them in a position where you expect them to head, then more often than not, you're going to land a shot on them, and we do again. The friendly destroyer takes out the target, which is an appropriate response considering the risk they were under. The enemies were attempting to engage him. The Hatsuharu was there, of course. Most of the enemies are on the other side of the map, behind an island. And I want to get over there and put pressure on them. Now, it's going to require that I go through an area where I will be detected. I will absolutely be detected because of this enemy, Murmansk. I fire just before I leave the safety of the islands. This prevents the detectability of the ship extending out. It doesn't matter at this point, but I do like the chance of getting out. I apparently am the subject of attention by one enemy Murmansk. He does 1,400 damage to my ship, and he's going to continue to fire on my ship, even though there's a Hatsuharu that's right at the edge of detectability. Okay, that's fine with me. I can handle it. I'm not going to complain. Why did you hit me? Aww. They did a lot of damage there. I think it was the enemy Scharnhorst. I think he got 2 citadels, probably. It was about, what, 20,000 points of damage done? Give or take. Oh, and he tried again. He tried again. He missed barely. We're still alive. Don't you try that again on me. I'm going to try and send some HE downrange. Maybe we'll catch fire to the enemy. Rack up some more damage. So far, the game's been pretty standard. It is nothing to write home about, right? Yeah, I hope that I can do more damage and help the team win the game. Enemy Murmansk has his engines knocked out, so I'm going to engage him, of course. We probably let him a little bit too much. He's getting towards the end of his momentum. Yeah, we missed completely. And I think he's going to engage me. So I draw in the shot. Much closer this time. And we've got what appears to be a friendly right in front of me. And I think he's going to... Yep. He's right in the way. And I'm trying my best to stay off of him. We do make contact. And I just continue forward. Continue firing. Nothing happened. It's okay. I don't care. We got to kill the target. We get the last little bit of damage. And we finally get our first kill of the match. To go along with the 43,000 points of damage done, enemy Colorado is pushing forward. And he's in a position where he doesn't really want to engage my ship. So I'm just going to set up and have some broadside HE, maybe a little bit of fire action to get his attention. First salvo, no fire, 2,000. Alright, that's not bad. Just do a quick check to see where the Warspite is looking. It'll take him 30 seconds to rotate those guns, even if he wanted to engage me. So we just continue firing on the enemy Colorado. And there is a fire. He's already got 1 on, so will he decide to use damage control on 2? It doesn't look like it. And the island gets in my way. I moved forward just a little bit too quick. And we get another fire. 3 fires on his target. He is going to burn down very quickly. He must not have damage control available. The Murmansk just went behind the island. Okay. Enemy Shan host is playing... He's honestly playing the ship the wrong way. You need to take advantage of the speed of the ship. You have to get into the fight. Look to exploit broadside opportunities. We get 4,300 on him, and there's an enemy, Nagato. His guns were not pointed directly at us, but they sure are now. So I'm going to try my best to continue turning. Rotate. We set the target on fire. I believe the Colorado is still burning. If he is, that's great. If he isn't, he's so close to dead, it doesn't really matter. He is indeed on fire, and we are the ones who get the last kill. And that last little bit was interesting. We had a fire on each battleship, and I think they were actually sticking for the most part. So we got 2 kills, 12 fires, 80,000 points of damage done, 1,390 base XP. Dominated everyone. People were too passive. You have to be aggressive. All of our damage from HE or fires. That's the Japanese cruiser line. The Myoko is a great ship. I hope you enjoyed seeing what is to come on most of the regions once the Scharnhorst comes out. You're going to see a lot of them at Tier 7. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.